Good morning, Reggie Lucena here, and today's tip, tool, strategy lecture session is going to be short and quick. I want to bring to the point of many viewers out there that in the world of building and development, whatever terms you want to use, construction, there's what I call the biggest, grandest illusion that's created, that creates expectations from before the project even begins, and that's what we call here a master schedule of all the events that should take place in order to reach from the start to the finish in a so to speak numbered amount of days to complete a project in, which is one of the biggest fuelers for misconception, false expectations, and what I call a deluded fantasy, because there's all kinds of stuff that's already missing in this to begin with, and this whole past week has been on, people have been on constant edge with because of the misinterpretation of the construction documents and the contracts. This is kind of a regulator on what you're supposed to be doing at all time, that in a pre-bid construction environment you give this and you tell the owner of the contract what you're going to do, and this sets up those expectations of the events to take place. On this particular project, we're running into a lot of underground unforeseen conflicts that have caused what we call CCDs, construction change directives. This is number 5 for the Division of the State Architect, and I'm considered the jurisdiction of having authority. I'm the guy who makes all the decisions on the final interpretation of what the contract documents are saying. And yesterday we had 5 different entities here discussing this, how to go about achieving the accomplishment desired of the design when we have the details in the drawings and the construction documents. And because someone else refuses to understand that, we go through these processes that cause delays, and owners want to have a recovery in all of this, which generally just doesn't happen. And so this bottom line down here usually gets missed and goes way beyond, which we're on track of doing already. While I have you here, I just want to point out that in addition to, this is one of the primary code books, which I'm going to give you an example of. This is only half of volume 1 and 2. This is all about the structural designs and requirements. And I frequently get challenged on things all the time, and it's what I call pay full price now or you pay more later, and there's constant conflict, and it's driven by emotionally driven ego and stuff, wanting to be right at all costs, and they end up, builders and contractors end up costing themselves a lot of time value. And one of my most important things in life is time, because that's something that none of us can trade away our full values for. It's really important that we get the most efficient, effective use of our time, and that includes in our families and all our other relationships in life. And this is a relationship out here that's exactly like that of what goes on in all your other relationships of life. And that's why I'm always, preaching, start with a solid foundation and do everything right the first time through, and you'll end up making more money at the end. You'll have more money, more time, and more freedom to do what you love to do outside of your work. And hopefully you're loving your work. And I'll give you another example here. This is what's going on in my mind, and all the different trades and organizations it takes to build a construction site. Fortunately, we're not dealing with about a dozen different trades here, because it's not a full construction project. It's a reconstruction. We're modernizing this multi-purpose building, putting in a professional, full-scale commercial kitchen, and in an auditorium area, and cleaning that up for the kids that are going to be using this later. And my ultimate responsibility is to protect the lives of every man, woman, and child that enter these safe haven buildings and stuff, which what schools are, and to protect their lives long after I'm gone. So that's why I have a huge responsibility here. I wanted to point out to you that this is the contract for this project. There's about 100 pages right there. That's the prime contract. This is the addendums to the contract from another one, the geotechnical engineer. And then these are what we call, in the colors, addendums to the contract. Now layer that together with, if you can see over here, all these code books on top of that. Then here's a shrunken set of blueprints here. All these blueprints that come with all the details and stuff, which are all in two-dimensional language. And what I do is I interface it into a quadridimensional languaging skills that help keep the systems of checks and balances throughout the course of the different construction managers, the different entities that, like your plumbing, your mechanical, your electrical, your structural, your concrete, your safe. It's all it's all relative to everyday life. And it mirrors your body, so to speak, in many ways. And part of my other training that I do, which is to teach companies to beat the building inspector. So if you can learn to beat me out here and understand what I'm doing, you're going to go a long way. You create repetition and frequency, and you start gaining momentum and spending less money chasing stuff and putting more money back in your pockets. And that's really what my skill is at, because I'm one of the few that have went from being just a broom trash picking site laborer when I was a young teenager, starting at the age of 15. I started actually a little earlier, but I left home finally when I was 15 for the final time. And now, in my early 50s, I have reached the highest level you can get, graduating, stepping up the ladder to what is known as the Division of the State Architect, Class 1 Building Inspector, which I regulate and oversee the activities of all the architects, the engineers, the designers, the constructors, even the laborers too, and the construction managers of the different various levels, and keeping everybody congruent and on the path and trajectory to completion, regardless of how much extra time it takes or not. And I'm constantly being confronted with trying to, if I'm helping and it's not helping them in their favor the way they're seeing the illusion or the event to unfold, it becomes a standoff. And when we get to that point, then you got to go through this dragged out RFI process. And my job is to get them through it without making mistakes and get it done right the first time. But as ego would have it, they wanting to be right all the time. These are the challenges that I'm encountered with on a daily basis, and I've got to be strong up here and keep emotion and judgment out of it, and just be very clear, because these law books here have a lot of stuff in there, and they don't understand that. And then when you layer all these different documents together, that's why I call it, if you learn to beat the building inspector, you're going to be a winner, hands down, tenfold, over and over and over, with more money in your pocket. And ultimately, that's what we're all out here for. No matter what profession you're in, what skill sets you have, everything counts, and we're just trying to make the best of every day and come out of it satisfied. So we're not living in a world of fear, anger, resentment and stuff, and being grateful for our experiences in life with what we have to work with. So anyway, I would mark a big X through here, but it would aggravate some people because they want to see all this. This is not a godsend thing. This is just a guideline. It's illusory only, and it creates what I call a fantasy world have expectations, and then and this is what also starts the majority of lawsuits in the construction industry, is a false conception of what this means in relationship to all the other construction documents and codes and procedures and standards and ethics, and some might put morals in there, but morals and ethics are just a byproduct of values, what each individual has. So, I'm one of just 800 people that's ever passed this exam in the past 20 years, and it's dwindled down to only about 200 or 300 of us left that still maintain and manage our licenses and stuff. So, again, this is Reggie Lucena. If you want to learn more about what I teach and train, and more about how you too can build more efficient and effective foundations in your life, your business, your finances, your career choices, your education, etc. You can find me at beatthebuildinginspector.com, or you can find me at my professional website, which is wfbconsulting.net, and just browse around, send me an email, and we will definitely get back to you and see how we can serve your needs. It's Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.